Hey guys, hope you're doing well. This week, I got another compilation for you where I have compiled all the worst teams for Generation 4. So Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, and Heartgold and Soulsilver. Hopefully these teams can give you a challenge if you decide to rerun these old Generation 4 Pokemon games, because some of these mons are pretty painful to use. Anywho though, I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you next week with some new content. So like always in the worst team series, we skip out on the starter because they're actually decent. Yes, I will admit Torterra, as much as I want to put it on this team, it's actually not horrid. But Torterra is still the worst starter in my opinion, so we're going to be giving Torterra to our rival to make our time a little easier. We'll be starting off with Piplup to make sure Barry gets Turtwig. Now go put Piplup in the PC, it's going to rot there for the rest of the game. Alrighty now, let's get our real starter for this worst team for Sinnoh, being B-Barrel. Now before you yell at me and say, oh my god, B-Barrel, Bidoof is god, it's a meme guys. I've seen Dorkly and I've seen Pokemon Rusty and I think it's hilarious. But bottom line, B-Barrel's still awful. But that's okay, because it's going to be the starter in the worst team for Sinnoh. B-Barrel, I will say, is the best HM Slay Pokemon, having access to literally all the HM moves. But water typing also helps it out a lot. So because it's useful but still awful, B-Barrel is going to be joining us on this worst team. It's pretty much tradition to have the early route normal Pokemon on a team at this point, so I've had all of them the worst team so far, so I think we may as well continue the tradition, right? So for a moveset for B-Barrel, I think it's going to be one of the most basic ones out there. We got Return, Surf/Waterfall, Superpower, and Ice Beam. Before we get Return on B-Barrel, just use all the normal attacks you can get on B-Barrel until then. Return is the best normal attack B-Barrel can get with the power of 102 if Happiness is maxed out. The TM for Return can be found at the top of the tower, right below Salacion Town. Now for B-Barrel's water type option, you have the option of either choosing Surf and switching to Waterfall later, or just keeping Surf on. I say keep Surf on B-Barrel until you get to the Pokemon League, then switch to Waterfall after. Surf is given to you by Cynthia's grandmother in Celestic Town, and Waterfall is given to you by Jasmine once you defeat Falconer. Waterfall is better because B-Barrel has better physical attack than special. Next we got Superpower for coverage, and this move is learned via level up at level 48. Lastly we have Ice Beam, and Ice Beam should be on every water type Pokemon. If you've ever played Pokemon, you guys should know. The team for that can be found on Route 216 after you get Rock Climb. With these moves, God's Gonna Smite, Rourke's team, Byron, Steelix, and Bastiodon, Canis' Snover, Sneasel, and Abomasnow, Vulcaner's Ampibomb and Octillery, just be careful of those electric type moves, and Bullet Seed, Barry's Staraptor, Snorlax, Rapidash, and Torterra, Mars's and Jupiter's Golbat and Perugly, Cyrus's Honchkrow, Crobat, and Weavile, Aaron's Beautifly and Vespiquen, Bertha's Sudowoodo, Golem, and Hippowdon, Flint's entire team, and finally Cynthia's Roserade, Lucario, and Garchomp. Yeah, B-Barrel might take a bit to really show off its power, but a god must leave the insignificant opponents to the others on the team. Why would it waste its time on them? Next on our list we have this god tier bug can be found on the early routes of Sinnoh, easy peasy. I'm sure all of you guys have heard about how horrendous Kricketune is, bad stats, etc. What you've heard is definitely not false because it is here on the worst team with us today. 85 attack and 65 speed, yeah, that's a X for me. It is easily one of the worst bug types ever created in the Pokemon universe. What's iconic about it though is its magnificent cry, that just makes me want to worship it. It doesn't exactly have a great moveset, but I mean hey, at least it gets X-Scissor and a fair amount of physical attack coverage. Even with this though, I think it's going to do horrible as you play throughout Sinnoh, but that's a good thing, right? This is the worst team after all, and we are known for having garbage. Speaking of garbage, let's hop into its moveset. Okay, it's actually not the worst. We take all we can get from this mon though. We got X-Scissor, Aerial Ace, Brick Break, and Swords Dance. So before Crick learns X-Scissor, the best bug type attack it can get until then is Fury Cutter, which can be learned at level 10. X-Scissor is learned at level 26. Aerial Ace is here for coverage against other bug types and such. The team for this can be found over on Route 213 after rock smashing a few rocks. Brick Break is great for rock type mons, and that team can be found in Orbor Gate after having access to Surf. Lastly, we have Swords Dance. I think Swords Dance is needed to buff up Kricketune's attack. The team for that can be bought in the game corner for 4,000 coins. With these moves, Kricketune can be a Pestu, Gardenia's team, Byron, Steelix, and Bastiodon, Canis' entire team, Vulcaner's Ampibomb, Barry's Heracross, Snorlax, and Torterra, Saturn's Kadabra and Toxicroak, Mars's and Jupiter's Perugly, Cyrus's Weavile, Aaron's team aside from Drippion, Bertha's Sudowoodo, Golem, and Hippowdon, Flint's Steelix, Lopunny, and Infernape, Lucian's team aside from Bronzong, and finally Cynthia's Roserade and Lucario. Honestly, Kricketune is not completely garbage like I thought it would be. It's not amazing by any means, but its moves are decent enough to help us out through some battles, so it's a welcome member to this worst team. So this next Pokemon may tick you guys off a bit, but it's a worse team, so I guess that's good. Say hello to Sandy Cloak Wormadam, probably the worst Pokemon that has been on a worse team so far. What's even bigger BS is that you have to wait to capture Burmy. And when I mean wait, you have to slap honey on trees in order to find it. So have fun with that. Is it worth getting? No. But it's a worse team. Is there anything on this team worth getting? If you still want to do this playthrough, then by all means do it. Just know you'll have to use this piece of sandy trash. I don't know why, but I just dislike this thing so much. Design-wise and viability-wise, it's like, blah. What? I mean, I love Mothman, but this thing just sucks. The ground-type cloak is probably my favorite of the Wormadams, though. So I guess that's one positive light. While we are on the subject of typing too, Wormadam doesn't get any bug-type attacks at all. So it's a wasted type. Wormadam doesn't get any bug-type moves. Period. Not even joking. Ground types are really neat to have in Sinnoh though, so Wormadam Sandy Cloak was the worst option I can think of. Okay, so for moves on Wormadam Sandy Edition, you can only do so much, so this was the best I could do with what we had available. Earthquake, Rock Tomb, Psybeam, and Thief. Yeah, Thief. You heard me right. This is what we're working with, guys. So we got Earthquake, Rock Tomb, Psybeam, and Thief. Earthquake is obvious because, duh, Dig is an earlier option, and the team for that can be found in the Room Maniac Cave over on Route 214. Earthquake is the best ground type attack that it can get, and the team for that can be found in Wayward Cave after Strength is obtained. Rock Tomb can be found in Ravage Path right before Floroma Town. This is here because of coverage, and hey, that -1 speed drop can come in clutch. Psybeam is a psychic move we have for Wormadam, and that move can be learned at level 32. Why not Psychic? Because the Pokemon on the team we're gonna get later is gonna need the second type TM more. And the last move we have is Thief. Yeah, we have Thief. It's all we got, believe me. Thief can be found in Eterna City after Cut is obtained. With these moves, Wormadam can do its best against Crash Awake's Gyarados if you're crazy, Fantina's team with Thief and Psybeam, Byron's entire team, Canis's Snover, Sneasel, and Abomasnow, Volkner's Raichu and Luxray, Barry's Staraptor, Heracross and Rapidash, Saturn's team, Mars's and Jupiter's Bronzor, Golbat and Skuntank, Cyrus's entire team, Aaron's team, Bertha's Sudowoodo and Golem, Flint's team aside from Lopunny, Lucian's team aside from Medicham, and finally Cynthia's Roserid and Lucario. On the surface, it might seem like Wormadam can put a large dent in Sinnoh, but don't let the quantity fool you. Wormadam sucks and will be a pain in the butt to use, so just be aware of that before sending it into battle. So the next Pokemon on this list is, oh, what? Chimecho. I forgot this Pokemon even existed along with its pre-evolution Chingling. Well, I guess we're doing this. Chingling can be found on Route 211 at the earliest, and that's right next to Eterna City. Chingling evolves into Chimecho via high friendship at nighttime. Just run around a lot and level it up as much as you can. This process can be really easy if you just run around a lot. Chingling is easy to get early on, and I guess is the best, worst psychic Pokemon we can get. It's a psychic Pokemon, so that also means it has a fun move pool. It's got all kinds of grass moves, electric. It's just a dope Pokemon to use. Stats-wise, it's not great, but I mean, it's definitely not the worst Pokemon on this team. I just think, if anything, it's more of a bizarre choice to use. Chimecho's moveset, however, is actually very fun. Witness this great move pool. We got Psychic, Shockwave, Grass Knot, and Secret Power. Psychic is here for stab, duh, and surprisingly, Chimecho can't learn this attack via level up, so we have to get the TM for it. The TM for Psychic can be found at the game corner, but 10k coins is way too expensive, so wait a bit for the TM instead. If you want to wait for the TM, you can get it on Route 211, west of Celestia Town after using Rock Climb. Shockwave is here for coverage, and that TM can be found over on Route 215. Unfortunately, Chimecho can't learn Thunderbolt, so this is our best option. Grass Knot is another coverage attack. Energy Ball's post-game, so that is also out of the question. Grass Knot can be earned after you defeat Gardenia. It will help out with our Crash Awake problem as well, especially with its Quagsire. Lastly, we have Secret Power. I think it sounds interesting, that's all there is to it. The team for that can be found in Amity Square. With a moveset like this, Chimecho can toll its Belfour, Million's Machoke, Crash Awake's team, Fantinia's Drifbloom, and Gengar's Be Careful, Vulcaner's Octillery, Barry's Staraptor, Heracross, and Floatzel, Saturn's Toxicroak, Mars's and Jupiter's Golbat, Cyrus's Honchkrow, Gyarados, and Crobat, Aaron's Beautifly and Vespiquen, Be Careful, Bertha's entire team, Flint's Drifbloom and Infernape, and finally Cynthia's Roserade, Gastrodon, and Milotic. Chimecho certainly is pretty useful, I'm not gonna lie, but you gotta be really careful with this thing. I wouldn't ever try anything risky, otherwise it'll end up looking like the Liberty Bell. Oh man, I am ashamed that I have to put one of my favorite flying type Pokemon on a worse team, but alas, I don't really have a choice. Noctowl is the worst flyer in Sinnoh, and that doesn't really say much. Sinnoh has some great flyers, so it was really the only option that was the worst out of the best. Noctowl actually isn't horrible. Great move pool, fun abilities, and it's actually a special attacking flyer versus a physical, which I've always found fun. I've used Noctowl several times in Johto before, so using one in Sinnoh isn't going to be that hard for me. I enjoy using it, so it's not that bad. A plus that Noctowl also has is a psychic move pool. If the moveset I provide to you guys doesn't really fit your interest, by all means use Noctowl's psychic attacks. sucks. I didn't want to personally use second moves on Noctowl because we already have Chimeco, but hey, use this move pool to your heart's content. It's a great one. Noctowl is actually my second favorite flying type Pokemon, and I hate putting it on a worse team. It actually pains me a lot. Such an amazing design too. Noctowl's move pool is such a fun one though, and I think you guys will be surprised but satisfied with some of the options I have lined up for Noctowl. Obviously we have Fly because duh, we need to move around easier. Shadow Ball is next for coverage, and that will be our main weapon against Fantina. Shadow Ball can be found on Route 210, just be sure to use Defog. Air Slash is the best flying move Noctowl can get, being special. Air Slash can be learned at level 32. Lastly, we have Silver Wind. Now Silver Wind is a very interesting choice because I think it can come in clutch against some dark type mons, plus that chance to boost all your stats is also really fun. Silver Wind was the fun move I was talking about. This move is awesome. Like I said earlier, if you don't like this moveset, use the psychic moves Noctowl has to offer. With this moveset, Noctowl can attempt to do well against Gardenia's team, Malian's Manatite and Machoke, Fantina's team, Byron's Bronzor, Canis's team, Barry's Heracross and Torterra, Saturn's team, Mars's and Jupiter's Bronzor, Cyrus's Weavile, Aaron's team aside from Drapion, Flint's Drifblim and Infernape, Lucian's entire team, and finally Cynthia's Roserade. Honestly, Noctowl is probably the best member on this team. It's definitely the worst flyer in Diamond and Pearl, but it's not really all that bad of a Pokemon. To some of you, this might seem like it goes against what a worst team is, but when you need a flyer and you're the worst one, it doesn't matter if you happen to be a little good, at least in my opinion. The last Pokemon on this worst team is trash. Bad stats, slow, and so many weaknesses. How did this Pokemon get on the original best team for Sinnoh? What was I on? Yeah, literally that's all I'm going to say about it. Next, the moveset for this abomination is going to be Blizzard, Giga Drain, Rock Slide, and Iron Tail. Blizzard is great because of its ability being Snow Warning. In Hill, Blizzard does not miss, so it actually works out really nice here. Use PPFs if you find some, they'll help out a lot too. Next is Giga Drain, and because this thing is a glass cannon, I want at least some kind of way of getting back HP, so this works well for a grass type glass cannon. Next is Rock Slide, and that's for coverage if you're able to line a hit off first. Rock Slide can be found in Mount Coronet after you get access to Rock Climb. Iron Tail is also here for coverage. I couldn't think of any other coverage attacks for it, so I guess it's a lot to do. If you guys have any better options other than Iron Tail, let me know down below. The team for that can be found on Iron Island. And finally, with these moves, this abomination trash can try to take down Canis's team aside from Medicham, Volkner's Octillery, Staraptor, Floatzel, Rapidash, and Torterra, Mars's and Jupiter's Golbat, Cyrus's entire team, Aaron's Dustox, Beautifly, and Vespiquen, Bertha's team. Technically, you could take on Flint's team if you wanted to use Rock Slide, but no. And finally, Cynthia's Roserade, Gastrodon, Milotic, and Garchomp. Yeah, Abomasnow is trash. It lures you in with a cool concept, a nice looking move pool, and then you're reminded about everything else, and that makes it so hard to tolerate, let alone use effectively. Which is why it's a natural fit for this worst team. Pokemon. That means this time we've got everyone's favorite HM Beaver, Bibarel. That's right, for all of you Bidoof lovers out there, this is definitely the video for you, as your favorite Pokemon is finally getting the chance to shine as the leader of this team. Bidoof is available right at the start of the game. It might as well be your first encounter, and evolving it is super easy. Just get it to level 15, and presto. It's a fat base 85 attack beaver with a strong desire to use all VHMs. That's not hyperbole, mind you. With the exception of Defog and Fly, Bibarel can use all the HMs available to you in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. So with that knowledge floating around in your head, you might be able to guess the moves I gave it. It's got Surf, Waterfall, Strength, and Ice Beam for its 4 moves. And yeah, it's HM heavy. It shouldn't come as too much of a surprise to see those moves, as Water and Normal are both stab on this thing, and Ice coverage is always a great thing to have. Leading off with Surf, that's an HM obtained from Cynthia's grandmother in Celestic Town. And then Waterfall is given to you by Jasmine after you beat Volkner in Sunny Shore City. So until Surf becomes available, you'll be stuck using Water Gun. But that's pretty fitting given the theme of this video. After those water moves, we have Strength offering some normal type stab to do basic damage to certain Pokemon. You can find the HM for that on Iron Island, given to you by Riley when you head there for the first time. Finally, we've got Ice Beam, a TM available from the Veilstone Game Corner for purchase. So save up your money or luck and get your hands on the coins so you can buy Ice Beam early on. You can always wait until way later and pick up Ice Beam on Route 216, which requires Rock Climb. But forget that. Just buy it. So with these moves, Bibarel will be able to do well against Byron's Steelix and Bastiodon, Canis's Frostlass, Cyrus's Houndoom, Honchkrow, and Crobat, Barry's Staraptor, Roserade, and Infernape, Aaron's Yanmega and Vespiquen, Bertha's entire team except for Whiscash, Flint's entire team, and finally Cynthia's Roserade, Togekiss, and Garchomp. Boy, the fact that B-Barrel doesn't do much until the 6th gym really speaks volumes about how rough this team is going to be. However, I think we're going to be able to still get through this challenge. Following up on B-Barrel, I figured we could add another Pokemon to the team from the beginning of the game to help it out a bit. Now, there were definitely a few options like Shinx and Starly, but they're obviously good Pokemon and thus don't fit on this team. Thankfully, for us and this video, there was another Pokemon right at the start of the game that could be found. The next member on the team is Kricketune, bringing its finger-esque mustache into the fold. Kricketune, for the sake of an in-game playthrough, actually has a somewhat interesting learn set, but its power is truly awful. Its bulk is trash, it's not very speedy, and it can hardly hit for much damage, making it perfect in this video. Right on Route 202, you'll capture a Kricketot, and at level 10, it's going to quickly evolve. You'll have a fully evolved Pokemon so early on. Not like it's good or anything, but hey. So as for the moveset, we have X-Scissor, Night Slash, Aerial Ace, and Brick Break. This actually looks like a really solid moveset on paper, but when you see the Pokemon it's attached to, it becomes a lot less exciting. So, starting off with the stab, X-Scissor is learned at level 30, with Theory Cutter and Leech Life waiting in the wings until then, and neither of those moves are exactly good. So, your wait for a decent bug move will be a while, but that's all good. Next, we have Night Slash, which is the final move Kricketune will learn by level up. You can get that at level 42 in the late game. Then there is Aerial Ace, which is nabbed on Route 213 on the way to Pastoria. And finally, we have Brick Break. You'll just need Rock Smash and the bike to be able to grab that pretty early on. Kricketune is going to use these moves to do well against Gardenia's Turtwig and Cherim, Mayleen's Lucario, Byron's entire team, Candace's entire team, Barry's Snorlax, Heracross, Roserade, and Infernape, Cyrus's Houndoom and Weavile, Aaron's Yanmega, Heracross, and Vespiquen, Bertha's Golem and Rhyperior, Flint's Houndoom and Infernape, but be extra super careful of course, Lucian's entire team except for Bronzong, and finally Cynthia's Roserade and Lucario. Well, would you look at that? Kricketune actually puts in some work throughout the journey. I mean, it has to work extra hard, and even then, it'll probably be really annoying to use. But at the very least, it has a chance, and that's all anyone can ask for. Following up on those two, we've obviously got to get our flyer out there, so we can have a little help getting around and avoiding ground-type moves. There are a few good flying options in Sinnoh, like Staraptor and Crobat, but we aren't looking for good ones here. That means, after some careful consideration, I'm going with Noctowl on this team as our flyer. It makes a lot of sense, right? Noctowl might be a slightly competent Pokemon on the special side of things, but it's not anything special. Hoothoot is found on Route 211, making it yet another early game encounter that slots in on your team before you even challenge the first gym. Just make sure you're looking around there at night, as it's the only time Hoothoot will appear. At level 20, it'll evolve, and Noctowl will take the stage, leaving you with half of a team already put together before you get to Gardenia. It'll even help you big time with her grass types. See, I'm not that evil of a guy. There is some method to these horrible Pokemon being on the team. Let's peep the moves Noctowl was using so we can find out just how useful it'll actually be. Noctowl has got Fly, Air Slash, Psychic, and Shadow Ball on this moveset. So obviously, Noctowl is no physical attacker, but I wanted to make sure to include Fly to help us move around. Thankfully, there isn't much else in Noctowl's move pool that makes the inclusion of Fly seem too egregious. You'll be grabbing that HM in the Galactic Warehouse as always. Though don't worry, as Air Slash is here so that Noctowl has an actual flying type move it can use. It's learned at level 32, so you'll have to suffer through Peck and Fly until that point. Then we have Psychic. You'll be grabbing that in the Veilstone game corner as well. So keep hoarding that money so you can buy the coins for it. Thank God for the VS Seeker, am I right? We close out this set with Shadow Ball, which is acquired in the foggy area of Route 210. It's a shame that it's after Hearthome Gym, but it is what it is. Noctowl's moveset is going to help it do well against Gardenia's entire team, Mayleen's Machoke and Meditite, Candace's Abomasnow and Frostlass, Barry's Heracross, Roserade, and Infernape, Cyrus's Crobat, Aaron's Vespiquen, Yanmega, and Heracross, Flint's Infernape, Lucian's entire team except for Bronzong, and finally Cynthia's Roserade. It's not a long list of Pokemon, but it's definitely something, as Noctowl provides great support for B-Barrel and Kricketune and offering some of the same coverage against certain battles. Alright, continuing on, we've got a Psychic type here that you can acquire on Route 211 as well, so you can catch it right when you catch Hoodoo. It's going to be Chingling. And of course, as you show it some love, it'll evolve into Chimeco at night. Does it get much worse than Chimeco? Well, yes, but it's still pretty bad. Sort of like Noctowl, it's somewhat competent on the special side, but its speed and HP are both pretty bad, which doesn't help things. Though I mean, hey, it's got Levitate, so good luck catching it with an Earthquake, Cynthia's Garchomp. Anyway, there isn't much to go over with Chimeco, so let's just talk about its moves. Psychic, Grass Knot, Shockwave, and Icy Wind are the moves I have given to Chimeco here. So right off the bat, we've got Psychic again. And this comes down to what you guys want to do. You can go ahead and buy Psychic a second time from the Veilstone Game Corner, you can wait until super late to get the TM on Route 211, or you can wait even later than that until level 46 to just learn Extrasensory instead. I don't know how long you want to be cursed to use only Confusion, but I know I'd rather just grind that VS Seeker and buy 2 Psychic TMs. After that, we have Grass Knot, which is given to us for defeating Gardenia. Then there is Shockwave, a TM found on Route 215, and you'll need Cut to get through it. Finally, we have Icy Wind, which you'll need some shards for. The move tutor is on Route 12, and getting shards is as simple as playing around in the underground. So with these moves, Chimeco will be able to do well against Gardenia's Roserade, Fantina's Haunter, Maylene's Meditite and Machoke, Crasher Wake's entire team, Canis's Piloswine, Barry's entire team except for Snorlax, Cyrus's Honchkrow, Crobat, and Gyarados, Aaron's Heracross, Vespiquen, and Yanmega, Bertha's entire team, Flint's Infernape, and finally Cynthia's Roserade, Togekiss, Milotic, and Garchomp. So, yeah. Chimeco actually does offer some new coverage that the first 3 Pokemon didn't, like for Crasher Wake and Fantina's Haunter. So that is pretty good. It also can stand toe-to-toe with that Garchomp, which is a hilarious visual. So this next Pokemon definitely has its fans in the comment section, so I'm sure it might be a little controversial with a lot of you. However, I wanted a Fire type on the team, and decided on Flareon over Rapidash this time. Honestly, neither of them are very good, but Flareon I figured would be a bit more interesting to include on the team and really rustle some jimmies in the comments. Plus, if nothing else, it's really easy to get. When you venture into Hearthome and head to Bebe's house, she just gives you an Eevee in Platinum, so it's right there, why not use it? You can acquire a Firestone in the underground, which is probably your best bet, though you can also find one in the Solaceon Ruins. It's up to you what you'd like to do. Flareon has 130 base attack, which is phenomenal, and 110 special defense as well, but its move pool is so horrible. It ruins those great stats. It's something that people have held against Flareon in those earlier generations, and it plays a part in why it's on this team. So the moves are Flamethrower, Dig, Bite, and Return. Yeah, like I said, nothing to really write home about on this set except for Flamethrower. There's also Firefang on this set, which might play better with the 130 attack, but I don't think it's worth waiting until level 43 for, quite frankly. It isn't as strong as a Flamethrower, and at the end of the day, this is only an in-game team and not a competitive one, so it doesn't matter too much. You'll be getting the TM for it either from the Veilstone Game Corner if you want to pay up, or at the Fuego Ironworks after you get Surf. You'll be stuck without a Fire type move until level 36, and Fire Spin if you wait though. Next up we have Dig, learned via a TM in the Ruin Maniac Cave on Route 214. It's easily one of the best moves Flareon gets via TM if that tells you anything. Then we have Bite, learned via level up at level 29. I can't believe they couldn't just give this thing Crunch for the sake of it. That would have been a lot easier. Finally, there's Return, learned via TM, which you get very early on in Sandgem Town at the start of your journey. Flareon's moveset is going to do well against Maylene's Lucario, Byron's entire team, Canis's entire team, Volkner's entire team, Barry's Roserade and Heracross, Cyrus's Houndoom and Weavile, Aaron's entire team, Bertha's Golem and Rhyperior, but I wouldn't bother, Flint's entire team, Lucian's Alakazam, Mr. Mime, and Espeon, and finally Cynthia's Roserade and Lucario. There's some great late game coverage provided by Flareon that really justifies it being on the team. But still, I can't believe how bad its moveset is. Makes me glad I'm a bigger fan of Umbreon. Alright, let's wrap up this team with one final member. So originally, I was going to have Pachirisu all the way up until I was sitting down to write this portion. Though, man, Pachirisu is so bad, it has even less moves than Flareon to learn. So I had to scrap it. Instead, I went with a defensive behemoth that is Bastiodon. Seriously? Just look at these defenses. They are through the roof. but every other stat is so lacking. It's perfect for this team. So here's the deal on how to get it. You need your trainer ID to be an even number. That's really it, as after that, you can hunt around in the underground and eventually find the armor fossil. You just have to revive it and you'll get a nice level 20 shield on. You'll unlock the underground in Eternus City, so you can search for this early on, perhaps while you're trying to gather shards and a firestone. At level 30, it'll evolve into Bastiodon, and you'll be able to stomp around the region on the back of this slow imposing Pokemon. Alright, this final moveset of the day opens with Earthquake, and then Rock Slide, Iron Head, and Avalanche. We lead off with Earthquake, which you can get in the Wayward Cave, and all you'll need is Rock Smash. It's gotten so early on and easily, I almost wish TMs were reusable in Platinum just because of that. The next move is Rock Slide, which you can find the TM for and Mount Coronet in the later game. Use Rock Tomb until then. That's found in the Ravaged Path on Route 204 pretty early on. Then we have Iron Head, learned at level 52. This is pretty much only useful in the Elite Four. I guess if you want, you can use Flash Cannon until then, which is the TM you get for defeating Byron. Finally, we have Avalanche, the reward for beating Candace, and the one response Bastiodon has for its mortal enemy, the ground types. So with these moves, Bastiodon is going to be able to do well against Maylin Lucario, Crasher Wakes Gyarados, Byron's entire team, Candace's entire team, Volkner's entire team, Barry Staraptor, Roserade and Infernape, Cyrus's entire team, Aaron's entire team except for Scizor, Bertha's entire team except for Whiscash, but have fun trying to tank all those earthquakes, Flint's entire team, and finally Cynthia's Roserade, Togekiss, Lucario, and Garchomp. There's actually a lot of late game work that Bastiodon puts in. And if it can take some hits with its extreme defenses, it actually makes up big time for its lack of offensive stats. It's the perfect mix of potential and mediocre that really fits in well on this team. Also, enjoy the Avalanche and that negative priority. So, as we kick things off, we're obviously not using a starter this time around, seeing as it's a worse team. I guess that would leave us with the early rodent Pokemon of the region. And in that case, it's the adorable Furret. It's not a very strong Pokemon, like at all, but it is somewhat fast at base 90 speed. It's the perfect launching point for a worse team. You can get Sentret right when the journey begins outside of New Barktown, and it'll evolve at level 15 into your leader Pokemon for the rest of the game. Now, I know I may have offended a few of you by putting Furret here, since it's got such a cult following, and as we know, it's been climbing that one escalator for a long time now. But the fact is that it's a garbage Pokemon, and it belongs on this worse team. Alright, Furret has got Strength, Iron Tail, Shadow Claw, and Dig for this moveset. I gave it Strength for a nice stab move, learned via the HM you get from the hiker on Route 42. It'll probably hit better than most normal type moves Furret can get. So next up, it's Iron Tail, learned from the TM you get for beating Jasmine. Those rock types that resist Strength, they're totally screwed. The next move is Shadow Ball, a ghost type move also learned via a TM picked up on Route 42, and it's going to offer necessary coverage for the ghost types that wish they could ever touch a normal type with their stab. Finally, there is Dig, which you'll find in the National Park as a TM. It is the earliest move you'll get on this set, and it will be pretty decent coverage as well. Now, with these moves right here, Furret will be able to do well against Morty's entire team, Jasmine's entire team, Price's Piloswine, Archer's Houndour and Houndoom, Silver's entire team except for Golbat, Will's entire team, Koga's Muck, Bruno's Onyx, Karen's Houndoom and Gengar, and finally, Lance's Aerodactyl. So Furret does its little part against a few leaders, Silver, and some of the Elite Four Pokemon. It isn't too much, but it's enough. How can you expect anything more from this cute thing? Next up, we've got our flyer. I mean, how could we not have one? Well, fortunately, we've got a few choices. Noctowl isn't very good in these games, that's for sure. I mean, who wants to use a Farfetch'd? Both of those solid choices, but I decided to take the easy way out here. I went with Togetic, which evolves from that Togepi you hatch in the early game. Also, you know, don't go thinking you've got a Togekiss in your future. I have looked into things extensively, and you're not getting a shiny stone until at least you've got access to Kanto. And you know how we do things here. We never make that mistake. For this video, I am not even getting into Kanto, as you can tell from Furret's profile. Because with a team this bad, I don't want to be blamed for making you guys use it any longer past initially entering the Hall of Fame. I am in the business of entertaining you, not torturing you. That said, let's get into the moveset and how torturous it is. Togetic's moveset, a nice mixed one, will be led off with Fly, then return, Fire Blast, and Ancient Power. I didn't really mention it a moment ago, but Togetic is not much of an attacker in any way, especially on the physical side. It's gonna have to be though, starting off with Fly, which you will get in Cianwood City after knocking off Chuck. The next move is Return, which will probably hit decently hard since Togetic needs to love you in the first place. You'll get its TM on Sunday at the Goldenrod department store. Then next up, it's Fire Blast. We go big or go home here on the worst teams, and it's gotten in the department store too for a pretty penny. Finally, at level 33, Togetic is going to learn Ancient Power. It'll come in handy for something, I'm sure, and it even has the opportunity to raise stats. Isn't that just incredible? Togetic is going to be able to use these moves to do well against Jasmine's entire team, Price's Piloswine and Dugong, Claire's Gyarados, Archer's Houndour and Houndoom, Silver's Sneasel, Golbat, Typhlosion, and Magneton, Will's entire team except for Slowbro, Koga's entire team except for Muk, Bruno's entire team except for Onix, Karen's Houndoom, Murkrow, and Vileplume, and finally, Lance's entire team. Did someone say Togetic Elite Four and Champion Solo Run? No? Well, you should have, because look at this domination. It is the greatest Pokemon on this team. We don't need no stinking Togekiss. Alright, we need something that swims around. Surf is incredibly necessary for certain points in the game. I had to find something bad, but I also decided to go for something a bit different. You know what's bad in the grand scheme of things? Poliwrath. Defensively, it's okay. But really, it's slow and a liability out in battle. That is definitely what we're looking for. And I thought, why not pick something that also needs to be worked a little to get? Really pump up the misery. You need a Water Stone to get Poliwrath, and there's really only two viable ways to get your hands on one. You'll either need to be gifted one from a fisherman on Route 42, or you'll need to get one from the Pokeathlon on a Wednesday. Isn't that just tremendous? You can get Poliwag with the Old Rod, which is a rod you'll be given on Route 32. You can travel back to Violet City and fish one up, and then evolve it into Poliwhirl at level 25. It sounds lovely, right? Well, let's look at this move pool. Surf, Waterfall, Focus Blast, and Blizzard are the four moves Poliwrath is bringing into battle this time around. We start off with Surf. And yeah, I get it, Poliwrath is designed to be a physical attacker, but whatever. You get Surf from the owner of the dance hall in Ecruteak City. Then we have Waterfall, a very late game HM you'll get in the Ice Path. That's more like it being a physical move. The next one is Focus Blast. That's a purchasable TM in the Goldenrod department store. And quite frankly, despite its less than ideal accuracy, Focus Blast just might be its best fighting type move. It can actually get its frog hands on. Finally, we have Blizzard, yet another move obtained in that lovely department store. It's that nice ice coverage every team wants to have. So with these moves, Poliwrath is going to be able to do well against Jasmine's entire team, Price's Dugong and Piloswine, Claire's duo of Dragonair, Archer's Houndour and Houndoom, Silver's Typhlosion, Magneton, Golbat, and Sneasel, Will's Xatu and Executor, Koga's Crobat, Bruno's Onix, Karen's entire team except for Gengar, and finally, Lance's trio of Dragonite and Aerodactyl. So, clearly, Poliwrath is bringing the pain in the late game like a lot of this first half so far. The Waterfall will hit hard for neutral damage on some Pokemon though, so I'm still confident about bringing it on board. Next up, we've got a nice presence from the electric typing. There was only one electric type I could think of that was bad, but at least do something with its electric type moves. And you guys, this is my least favorite Pokemon of all time. This stupid design, it's gotta be the original electric type Pokemon from my worst team for Kanto, Electrode. It's actually a pretty interesting story how you end up getting your hands on this Pokeball wannabe. It is available in the Team Rocket HQ, which you get access to after you take on the Red Gyarados, which is in turn available after you beat Morty. You can go into the HQ and find a wild one, capture it, and it's on the team. You get to skip over the Voltorb section and just roll on. I really struggled to put together a moveset for Electrode, which you'll come to see, because it's only really loaded on the electric end. Though, is there anything more fitting than just one trick for a fast orb like this? Hey, we've got Thunder, Spark, Rollout, and Self-Destruct on this thing. Yeah, you heard that right. Thunder is gotten in our favorite place, the Goldenrod department store. We're helping keep them in business, I think. The next move is Spark, and that is going to be already on Electrode when you catch it. If you want to use Charge Beam instead, be my guest. Rollout will already be on Electrode, and it's a little bit of coverage, I guess, so why not have it, right? What else is this thing gonna do? Well, how about Explode? Self-Destruct comes at level 29, and I guess if you want to have it as a move to sacrifice Electrode to stop an unbeatable Pokemon, you can. Like, surely you'll catch something off guard with a move like this. Electrode uses its moves to do well against Chuck's Poliwrath, Claire's Gyarados, Archer's Houndour and Houndoom, Silver's Golbat, Will's Xatu and Jinx, Koga's Crobat, Venomoth and Ariados, Karen's Murkrow and Houndoom, and finally, Lance's entire team. Think of all the Pokemon you'll get to use self-destruct on, even if there aren't many that do super effective damage against. I can't get the image of Electrode dominating Lance and then just exploding afterward. What a great Pokemon. Now look, Unknown is a bit too horrible even for a worse team. Wobbuffet is right in that boat too. I could never put you guys through that. It's gotta be bad, but it's gotta be usable too. So let us go with Hypno and its big ol' honker, the only option left. Drowsy is available on Route 34 right before Goldenrod. That's where you'll be finding it. It evolves at level 26, and when it does, you'll have a very specially defensive Pokemon that doesn't exactly have a good track record with strength. It isn't going to really hit hard at all, but hey, it's there. There isn't anything really left to say about the Hypnosis Pokemon, so let's just peep the moves. Hypno has Psybeam, Shadow Ball, Hypnosis, and Nightmare in its colorful moveset this time around. Psybeam is learned at level 28, and will be the second type move on Hypno for most of the playthrough. I'm sure your Hypno will probably be level 50 by the time you're in the E4, so you'll have Psychic pretty late. Next up is Shadow Ball on this set, and it's gotten for beating Morty. I figured having it on here would be sort of nice. Hypno is probably the best special attacker on this team that can actually use Shadow Ball, so why not? Finally, we've got Hypnosis and Nightmare. Both moves have to be hard scaled back on in the late game in Blackthorn. Might be a useful combo for some of the late battles. Who knows? Alright, so Hypno's moves will allow it to do well against Morty's entire team, Chuck's entire team, Archer's Coughing, Silver's Golbat, Kadabra, and Haunter, Will's entire team, Koga's entire team except for Forretress, Bruno's entire team except for Onix, and finally Karen's Gengar and Vileplume. Don't sleep on that Hypnosis Nightmare combo in the Elite Four, as some of the Pokemon you face will be susceptible to it. Hypno's going to do its best to creep out the opponents and lead your team to victory. Alright, time for that last Pokemon on this list, and boy is it awful. It's going to be one of the absolute worst Pokemon of both its typings, the disgustingly bad mushroom Parasect. You can find yourself a Paras in Elex Forest, probably having some sort of congregation with the other bugs in that forest, talking about how bad they all are at being Pokemon. Parasect has no redeemable stats, so the evolution of Paras at level 24 won't mean too much. I suppose base 95 attack isn't the worst in the world, but yeah, it might just be easier to just rip the mushroom things back and like make a super something. But instead, I'll just try to give it a moveset and make it somewhat viable in a playthrough. Alright, the final moveset we have for today is Spore, Slash, Bullet Seed, and Sludge Bomb. That's right, Parasect, Hypno's best friend. Put them to sleep with Parasect and have Hypno come out with the Nightmare. Totally, you guys. Believe me. Spore is learned at level 17. Then there is Slash, learned at level 22. I could have gone with Leech Life in this spot, but why settle for such a low power move? It's gotta be Slash. Then there is Bullet Seed, a TM you'll find on Route 32, which is obviously gonna be a great move you'll always rely on. Quagsire is 100% shaking in its boots. Finally, we have got Sludge Bomb, which you'll get on the way to the Lake of Rage. It's probably Parasect's best move, but in my opinion, this doesn't hold a candle to Bullet Seed. Finally, our last team member will use its moves to do well against Chuck's Poliwrath, Price's entire team, Will's Slowbro and Executor, and Bruno's Onix. That is it, folks. This right here, Parasect, is the pinnacle achievement in the Pokemon world. What it accomplishes by putting Pokemon to sleep and tossing seeds and balls of poison at them is nothing short of impressive. This team would be nothing without the anchor that is Parasect, and today I gained a whole new respect and admiration for it.